Wagwan ya Bamba Klats. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Glad you made it. It's not a social production. That's right. We're doing it. It's Friday, November the 28th, 2025. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. If it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. If you've been with me from the get-go, sending all the love right back to you. Wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's Canada, down south in the US, further down south, Mexico, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau, remember that one. We're going to try to come back full circle today with many of things. All around the world, New Zealand, Australia's, Papua New Guinea's, Thailand, Hong Kong. Also remember that one. Underwater, floating on top of the water, in a cave, as per usual, digging, knee deep in your wife's puss, double penetration, triple penetration, you're milking your husband. Congratulations. Thank you for joining me once again. If you do hear any noises in the background today, I do apologize in advance. There seems to be some sort of an orgy going on in the next unit. It's either an orgy or sometimes they build like a particle, collider. So it might be that we're opening up a portal to hell. It might be that. It might be CERN's worst nightmare. Competition, that is. Or it just might be an orgy. Hold on, listen. Someone just came, and I'm glad you came too. Let's get a sip of this shit. It'll stop in between. I can't. There's nothing I can do about it. I was gonna go outside and do it because there's a little bit of noise, but it's just a little bit too chilly for your boy's comfort. It's minus 10 degrees with the wind, and it's windy too. It's not just like regular minus 10. It's windy, so not today. Not for some time. So thank you for joining me once again. Let's get right into it. Lots of things to discuss, lots of things to be, we're gonna try to make sense of it all together and figure it out together. I guess one of the underlying, sometimes we do this in the episodes, in the pod, sometimes there's like an underlying theme to the episodes. And I thought about it, what would be if we were gonna do one of those episodes of underlying themes. Today's underlying themes, one of them at least, is a niche. Or a niche. I always thought it was niche, to be honest with you. N-I-C-H-E. I thought it was niche. I've heard niche and I've heard niche. You gotta find, they say that, you gotta find your niche. You gotta find your niche. I'm gonna go with niche from now on. Niche, because I thought about it. I've always said niche. Sometimes throwing in a niche, but a niche sounds better. I like niche better, to be honest with you. You gotta find your niche in life. They say that. And it could be anything. That's the beautiful thing. We get inspired by everybody outside. Everybody doing amazing, beautiful things. And today there's so much opportunity out there. There's this bitch in New York, Pei Chung. That's her name, Pei Chung. She's apparently infamous or famous. She's a dine and dasher. That's her. I saw a video and the caption read something along the lines of, infamous dine and dasher in New York, seen by fans or spectators. She's built a career. Is this a thing? Which makes me happy. It makes me glad, to be honest with you, because I see this. I'm like, God damn, this bitch is, she's cranking out dining and dashing content, and people are liking it or into it. She's made it. That's the thing. It's hopeful. Gives me a little bit of like, yes, it's possible for each and every one of us. So find your niche out. This bitch is going out there and dining and dashing, and people are, didn't get a close look, but she looked fine. She looked fine from afar. And that's her thing. She dines and dashes. Who would have thought, 2 years ago, even 5 years, 10 years ago, anything could be a career these days. That's the beauty of it. Yeah, sure, a lot of jobs are being, and we'll get to it again, a lot of intermingling topics today. A lot of jobs might be, fucking AIs coming at you, robots, the monkeys, the wolves, the fucking octopi are learning shit. I get it, but then there's the niche, baby. There's the human niche factor. So find your dining and dashing experience, whatever that may be for you, and make a career out of it. It's exhilarating. I've only dined and dashed one time. Not proud of it either. Not proud of it. It didn't make me feel good. It happened to, again, when puss is involved, your boy will do almost. Because so puss was involved. I'll just say a little bit of that. Puss involved, dining and dashing. Your boy's not gonna say no to dining and dashing if puss is involved, all right? And I still felt bad afterwards. gonna take, you know, half the responsibility of that evening, and it was a few drinks. It was maybe a few drinks, and we dined and dashed, and puss was involved. Need I remind you? I think that pretty much should, you know, get rid of if anyone's out there is feeling guilty, if anyone's fucking out there is, you know, thinking, oh, I'd never, well, I guess you don't love the puss then, I guess you're just, you know, a faggot, I guess. And that's cool. That's completely cool. And we'll get to that again. A lot of intermingling topics today. Find your niche. And I like niche. I like niche better than niche. Because like it also gives you an opportunity to like call somebody a bitch from afar. You know what I'm talking about? Call anybody a bitch from afar and like start shit. But then it gives you an opportunity if they get up close and personal in your grill and your space, and that they're like, oh, you call them a bitch from like, you know, they're a couple of 100 yards away, and then I don't even know what yards are, but you know, it's a thing people say, a couple of 100 yards away. I don't know what that means in terms of measurement. It means nothing to me. I have no idea what a yard is. Are we talking backyards? Are we talking a small dwelling, single garage, you know, double garage? What is it? It doesn't matter. The point is, call people a bitch. Niche always gives you an out though, you know, because they're tiny from 200 yards away. Bitch ass. Bitch ass. Guy gets close to you, 7'10". All of a sudden you're fighting a giant or about to fight a giant. He's like, what'd you say? In his giant voice. What'd you say? Maybe he's a giant, but he's got a little tiny, you know, mouse voice. What'd you say? But he's still like fucking 7'10". You call me a bitch. And he's fucking again. And you're like, oh, I want to call you bitch even more, but you're 7'10". No, it's just niche. I said niche. Niche ass. I was just trying to make conversation. Tell him that. Niche ass. What kind of ass are you into? Niche ass. Niche. And then, you know, or call him, or say bitch please. And if you're a female and you call somebody bitch please, and that, you know, she's coming from afar, gets close, you realize she's a fucking walrus. And she's like, what'd you say? As she's like, you know, chomping down on like Whoppers or whatever it is. She's shoving down her fat face. What you say? And you're fine, beautiful, you know, 150 pounds of titties and ass, and you're just like, oh, I don't want to get messed up. I said niche. I just said niche. Niche ass. Niche please. Niche, find your niche please. I'm just raising awareness as to how people should find their niche. Drive by in a car, call people, you know, roll down the window. Nobody rolls down their window, but it's a better phrase. I like that, rolling down the window. Nobody does just via buttons now, or fucking voice command. Who knows at these rates of acceleration, but it doesn't matter. You roll it down and you call people bitch. And then somebody pulls up, what'd you say? Niche. I'm trying to help you find your niche. So I like niche better than niche, I'll say that. You're a bitch. What'd you say? You're a niche. You're unique. You're a niche. You know that? You know you're a niche. Quit bitching. What'd you say? I said quit niching. Quit niching. It's also the counter argument, of course, you know, don't focus on one thing. Expand your horizon. I'm just saying, quit niching, dog. You gotta expand your horizon. Oh, I thought you called me a bitch. Never would. Bitch ass. What'd you say? Niche ass. What's your niche ass? What kind of asses are you into? Big booties, tiny booties, flat booties, high booties, low booties, niche ass. Moving forward, I'll try to remember that. Niche over niche. What have we been talking about? Yeah, find it, whatever it is for you. Speaking of food experiences, I just read an article that said 100 years this particular group of people have been eating stink bugs. The Mizo people in northern India. So they've been eating it. A whole population of humans have been eating stink bugs. And I'm just like, oh great, add in one more extra article or news source about, you know, how to reduce eating meat. Man, stink bugs? How you gonna eat stink bugs? And not even regular bugs, stink bugs. These bugs stink. They're not, there's regular bugs and then there's, I guess, stink bugs. These guys are eating stink bugs. It's not like they cook it and get rid of the smell. There's a stink to it. They eat this. Have you tried the cow though? Have you tried the cow? It's delicioso. Muy caliente. Muy grande. Muy, you know. Because it doesn't even make sense. If you're eating one cow, you're eating at least one cow. You know how many bugs you're gonna have to kill to feed your entire family? In terms of ethics and morals and like, you know, karmic retribution, one cow would feed a lot more people than, you know, you have to kill a lot more insects. There's still lives. If we're counting, and again, vegetables are lives too. Plants are lives too. Grass is alive too. Trees are alive too. The earth is a living organism. You're a living organism. You're a living orgasm. You just came. You jizzed your pants. You don't have change. You don't have a change of clothes. You just jizzed your pants, man. Good luck with that. But yeah, man, people eat different things. I just want to throw it out there. If you've not tried it leaves more cow for me though. So I suppose eat more stink bugs. Just the stinkier the better. I'd eat it if I absolutely had if there was like nothing else. And by that I mean I would probably resort to cannibalism first. Oh, somebody just came. Somebody just came next door. You heard that one. That was a loud one. Somebody just fucking got their clit rubbed and they squirted all over the place. Or they opened up a portal to hell. Because again, particle collider next door. You never know what's going on in this show right here. Which other podcast show gives you live orgies next door and a portal to hell? Numero uno right here, I think. In that aspect, at least. But yeah, to my North Indians, love to visit India one day. Try other animals, please, please. For the love of God, please. Can't be getting good reviews with stink bugs. It's fucking social contagions. People are susceptible. People are malleable. Next thing you know, fucking bitches in the West be going, you gotta try stink bugs. Can't be doing that. A Thai grandma refuses to die in Thailand. She was announced dead and placed in a coffin, and on her way to cremation, she woke up. As she was about to be rolled off into the oven or whatever. She just started like, you know, touching herself and, you know, wiggling around and moving around. At that point, you just gotta, you know, what do you do then? What do you do? Everybody gets in the mood of like, oh shit, we just lost grandma. You're about to, you know, fucking start your mourning process, start your grieving, you know, you shed a couple of tears. She's lived a long life, a beautiful life, full of ups and downs, but she lived a long life nonetheless. So you shed a couple of tears, but not too many. And then she comes back and you're like, God damn it. So now you gotta like, you know, you gotta work up more tears. When's she gonna go? Is she gonna go tomorrow? You have to be like, yes, she's alive now. Then she tugs on your heartstrings and then boom, fucking planks tomorrow. I don't know how I feel about that. You know, dying family members. If you're gonna die, die. If you're gonna die, die. Commit to it. Go. And people saw her waking up and I guess they assisted her or whatever. But also, you know, if the mood is just, you know, maybe close the lid. Close the lid. You know, it's the last few breaths. Close the lid. Find your niche. Close the lid. Maybe just hug her tight one last time. People got bills to pay. It's time is money. Money is time. You gotta be running around. You have time for people that doing a double take on death. All right, you die once. There's only room for. You only die once. People die once. There's only room for. You never die twice. What was the name of that? Is there a Bond movie with that sort of title? It's like 27 of them. I love each and every one. You only die once or twice. If you're a Thai grandma, kill her. Love her, of course, love her dearly, but hug her tight before, you know, you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to make a trip back to the city or whatever. So yeah, this is just a case of grandmas displaying a little bit of late blooming acts of selfishness, you know. If you're like 80, 90 and you're gonna call it quits, all right? Don't get people all excited about a funeral and like, you know, what am I gonna wear? Who am I gonna invite? How am I gonna prep the food? What are we gonna do with her? Is it gonna be cremation? Is it gonna be, you know, are we gonna have to dig a hole? Are we gonna have to get a bunch of balloons and fill it up with helium, hook her to the balloons and watch her, just drift off into space? What are we gonna do? Planning, money, resources, time, babysitter, this, do we need a DJ? Is it a celebration of life? What if it's just too much? Okay, if you're gonna die once. That's my concern. I saw people are fucking ejacking and squirting next door. I can feel it. You feel a vibration. Oh yeah, that's some major bean flicking right there. But yeah, point of that is find your niche, hug grandma real tight if she, fucking wants to come back and be like, I'm not ready. Make up your mind. Make up your mind. People got things to do, all right? If you're gonna die, die. An extraordinary event took place in the UK the other day, some time ago. Bunch of people in the pro-Palestine action group, I forget the exact name, but they're like pro-Palestine. And they attacked a cop in the UK. They broke into a facility, I think it's like a defense facility that's for Israel, but based in the UK. They broke into this plant and there was a cop there and they attacked him with a sledgehammer. So sledgehammer versus cop. I saw this video. I'm like, man, there's only a way to like stop these, hooligans, these knuckleheads. If there was only a way. But unfortunately, the cop didn't have any way to protect himself. Again, sledgehammer, protesters wielding sledgehammer versus cop. He had nothing to protect himself with. And I thought to myself, if only cops had some that they could use to protect themselves. If only somebody came up with some sort of a mechanism, some sort of a machine, some sort of a device that they could use to defend themselves. I don't know. I'm thinking, a sword, nunchucks, maybe just like a rope so you can like lasso them. Maybe like, maybe a little bit of like, tar and feather, just tar and feather as they like chase you. Tar in one hand, feathers in the other, fucking tar and feather. Retract, tar and feather. Pins, sharp pins, roll it on the ground. Have them step on it. Oh, I'm bleeding in like 10 different spots. Tiny little pins have punctured through my shoes. And it's, this is so painful. Tar and feather pins, get away. If only there was some sort of device that they could use to protect themselves. And a knife, something. I don't know, some sort of, if we could just come up with an idea of where we can like, grab some sort of mechanism, put it together. I'm thinking maybe like some sort of powder that provides, some sort of explosion, some sort of like, some device that, is there anything we have that they could use to, maybe like a device that holds tiny little, I don't know, maybe call them like, is there such a thing as like maybe like a device that has, I don't even, have you guys heard of the term? Is bullets? I've heard of this thing, maybe bullets, that they might go into a device of sorts and they might pop. You might be able to, get rid of a few bullets in a row if you just had this device. I don't know if it's been around or not. Something involving gun. What? I heard of this thing. It's a gun. I'm not quite sure what it, but maybe use a gun. UK cops, maybe use a gun. That was weird. Sledgehammer versus, take them out. Get a gun. Why don't the UK, is this true, by the way? Is this true? I've been to London a couple of times. Beautiful, beautiful place. Love the UK. Love the people. And I've also heard this. One of the largest surveillance states, yes, but also the cops don't carry any guns. What? The whole point of being a cop is to get a gun. That's the whole point. The whole point. You're like, what about helping me? The whole point of becoming a cop is to have a gun on you at all times. That's the whole point. To shoot the bad guys. Why would anybody want to be without a gun? You're just a civilian. You're just always dressed the same as a bunch of other civilians in black, and you get a cool hat, and you get a badge, and you get a walkie-talkie, and that's pretty dope too. and you get a car. Fine, you get a car with sirens on it, and that's pretty dope too. But the whole point of becoming is to get a gun. That's the only reason why people become cops. So, and is this true? I'm not even quite sure, because I'm pretty sure some of your cops might carry guns, right? It's not, it can't be all of are you withholding the guns from all the cops? This poor guy attacked with a sledgehammer. He had nothing. At least give him a sledgehammer or a bunch of medieval tools. If somebody comes at you with a sledgehammer, give him a sharp object, some broken glass, shards of glass at least. Fill his pockets in the mornings with shards of glass. Attacker comes at you with a sledgehammer, shards of glass. Tar feather, shards of glass. Get away, at least something. I need backup below on shards of glass. So I don't know how, but give him bigger guns. That's the thing, the big guns. That's the whole point of becoming a cop, like a giant gun. I would, I'm not, and thank your lucky stars I'm not in charge of anything. If it was up to me, cops would be getting the biggest guns, just one giant barrel. You'd have to do a fitness test that weighs like 200 pounds, carry this thing, and it was just like one giant bullet, one giant ass bullet. And it would just take out a whole, crowd of 200 people, one bullet, just a giant. You'd probably become a hunchback by the time you're in your mid 40s if you're still working in the force, because it's a giant gun. But that's the whole reason. That's the whole reason that we get people to become cops. You're depriving them of the joy and the experience. Give them guns. Poor bastards out there. My heart goes out. Get a gun if you're a cop. Reinvent yourself. Big guns. Just, ammo to the tits. You know what I'm talking about. Just fucking look at this guy. He's all ammoed out. What else is going on? Down syndrome, former Down syndrome baby, current Down syndrome grown adult, Greta Thunberg, just dumped a whole bunch of dye in the Venice Canal. And I don't know how I feel about that, but all I know is canal is basically anal, but with like a C in the beginning part of it. So that's and you don't fuck with anything that's got to do with anal. And again, canal, canal. That's gets me going. So I'm just like, yo, what's next? You're gonna be pouring green dye in all of our anals? Put a bell on her. Put a bell on her. Put a bell on this bitch. Put a bell on her so people know she's coming. How do we deal with this nonsense? Put a bell on her, whatever we gotta do. I'm sure there's enough. How much money does it take to just see her just go away for some time and never do anything else in public? How much is the money? Do we not have enough funds globally? I'm asking everyone out there with deep pockets. I'm asking world billionaires and trillionaires, governments, if you need to step in, fund her, however much money she needs to just stop. Give her the money. This is an act of terrorism that we've not seen ever before. Put a giant bell on her. Throw cash at her face. Create a secret program where people surround her and make her believe she's actually doing something worthwhile and that she's actually succeeded. Maybe then she'll get to stop. Starting like this. Greta Thunberg, you have now achieved your goal, which no one knows what it is, but you've achieved. The climate is now completely controlled and it stopped changing. You stopped the weather from changing. Congratulations. Give her money for the love of God. Get her pregnant. Get another Down syndrome person to get her pregnant. Have them move away to the mountain, please, for the love of God. Anyone out there, I'm reaching out to everybody again. If it's if it's Israeli forces, I'm talking to the Qataris with deep pockets, Russian oligarchs, anybody in North America, Western Europe, if you've got please, 500 million should shut her up. It's worth it. It is worth it. You're like $500 million, it's worth it. It is worth it. Good God. Put a bell on it. Put a whole bunch of bells on it. If you see her coming, run. I suppose it's a good thing to have her around on one, as an indicator. If anybody's hanging out with her, if everybody's like if anybody's encouraging that behavior, at least you know who to get away from. There are not that many people you want to get away from, but some people should have bells. Some people should have bells. There was a whole story about bells on things. Oh God. How much is, what's the cost of her not ever doing anything related to environment, related to anything in terms of like anything at this point? Just this bitch has been upset about the weather for like 10 years. The weather. And there's others like her, but like she's like the poster child. There's other UC people. Oh, my biggest concern is the weather. Your biggest concern is the weather. I suppose find your niche. Find your niche. I suppose if it works, it works. To each their own. At the end of the day, I guess she found her niche. Intermingled topics. What have we been talking about, ladies and gentlemen? I believe there was an exercise called Pegasus, and I know what you're thinking. Is this like, a lobotomy? Is this like, is this like Pilates? Is this like dry yoga? You heard of wet yoga, or what is it, hot yoga that gets you wet? Well, this is unlike that. It's not even dry yoga. You heard of dry yoga, where you do yoga and you're dehydrated and you turn into a prune and you die, or at least get close to it. But then if you get a chance to recover, you'll be all right. That's dry yoga. Cold yoga, ever heard of that shit? Cold yoga? You think exercise Pegasus is something along those lines? Is it like weightlifting? It's not. It's not, ladies and gentlemen. It's a simulation. They ran another simulation. They, them. It's another simulation for a future pandemic of sorts. This is a little bit concerning because they ran another simulation back in 2019? I think it was 2019. Johns Hopkins University and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation ran a simulation, if you guys remember, Event 201. That was the simulation of a global pandemic, and then shortly after an actual pandemic broke out, and they ran another one. They just ran another one. Exercise Pegasus for a future pandemic. Why are all these simulations evil? Who hurt you? How were you hurt? How have you not been able to cope with it? Why are all the simulations evil? Again, find your niche. I'm here for you finding your niche. I get it. You're like, I'm into running evil simulations. Could you run a positive simulation, Run a simulation where run a simulation and make it happen in a couple of years. Everyone becomes a billionaire. Run it, do it. Run it, do it via crypto. Do it via the stock market. Manipulate the numbers, get the gadgets in there. Run a positive simulation. You know what I'm talking about? Run a simulation that we get rid of all world hunger. Run that one. For once. Do something, because we're capable of doing simulations and having them come true. Run a positive one. Why are they all evil? Is there no positive simulation, like on a grand scale? I'm sure that, and there's a lot of positive things I don't want to ever take away from, life is grand, life is great. 2025 going into 2026, best time to be alive. But I'm just talking about simulations being run. Do we not have any, there's evil wizards versus good wizards? Why don't we see the good wizards putting some of the positive simulations? Everybody gets a BBL, whatever everybody likes, whatever everybody's into. Run it hard. At least switch it up. One evil simulation and then one really one fucking good positive simulation. Everybody gets titties because everybody does love titties. Okay, that one, whatever everybody likes, whatever everybody's into, we can just vote on it. I thought money would be a common interest for everybody. That's an easy one, but everybody gets a Brazilian waxing for the rest of their life, free of charge. We fixed that one, No more having to pay for your grooming services. Run a positive simulation. That's all I wanted to say. In the meantime, I wonder how we'll react as a society if it does actually happen. And it's not out of the realm of possibilities that it might, happen or might not happen. It's happened before. Many things have happened before. Just saying. I would hope that a lot of us would, hopefully not give in to the mass psychosis, the mass formation. I hope that most of us can, stay strong this time around if it does happen, dude, because they ran it. You never know. You never know. Hopefully we'll be able to, but then there's always the thing, what if it's for realsies this time? Well, then fucking let's take our time and figure out what it is before we, hopefully we've learned, right? And history proves that we learn from our lessons. As a collective, history has taught us one thing, that humans have a tendency to not repeat history that's been proven for the most part, right? Hopefully. I don't know. I'm trying to stay positive and like fucking optimistic about it, low key. Fucking, just putting it out there. Find your niche. Somebody should probably get into the positive simulation niche. That's a niche right there. If you're like, what should I do? Positive simulations, Free hand jobs for everybody. You know what I'm talking about. You get up in the morning and you just like fucking, oh, some hand is there stroking you right there. Finger fucking you, lady. Run that simulation. Global Bukkake. How about that? Global Bukkake 2027. We can work on that. 2027 is fucking for a month. 1 month of full-blown Bukkakes for everyone. What? Everybody's happy. I'm just trying to listen and find a common theme that helps us unite. Or common themes, plural. We'll find it like you find your niche. I will try to find something that unifies all of us. I think a bukkake for everyone here, I think everybody can get around that. I think everybody could get behind that, or rather in front of it, or participate in the bukkake at least. That's, it doesn't matter where you're placed in the bukkake, whether you're in the front or the back, as long as you're contributing to getting soaked and or soaking. It's a work in progress. Run the simulation. That's how it should be dealt with. You got to run the simulation before you go and get your panties in a bunch. You keep working on the negative simulation. How about you switch it up and do something positive for a change there? I don't want to focus on the positive simulation. I like to do evil simulations. Get me a little cat, and I'll do my evil simulations from my evil layer. Bad boy for life. You think it's easy to do an evil simulation? Oh, why don't you give it a crack? Like we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, we're here. It's Friday. That's right. Simulations, titties. Oh, a nice crack right there. What else is going on? I believe there's now this is both a positive and like and also mostly positive, but it also makes me like kind of like appreciate the times that we have is what I'm trying to say. Appreciate the people around you that we have, because some of us might not be like around in the future. Of course, most of us won't be around in the future as people allegedly die and stuff. But I'm talking about a type of human might be eradicated in the next few decades. Might be, and it might not be. And I'm torn. I'm like, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? I'm talking about retard cleansing. Retard cleansing, ladies and gentlemen. As technology advances, we gain benefits like having access to gene editing. And there's a child, I saw this child, a California kid, little baby. And he had the Downs, or like a version of it at least. That baby was a little bit, and then they gene edited the baby. And he's a really young baby, and now he's gotten way better, and he's almost no more Downs. His Downs is almost gone. He's up, ladies and gentlemen. This is both a remarkable positive story, but it also makes me think, will the future have no more retards? Are we going to be less retarded in the future? Are we doing retard cleansing? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because it made me realize, I'm like, at least, you know, with the beautiful thing with retards, they're so nice. But most of them are really nice. Like they just don't have that with that whatever thing it is that us that, like, you know, the lesser retards have to, you know, because you all of us were filled with, like, you know, good and evil and this and that. These guys are just straight up fucking, you know, just a beam of fucking, you know, rainbows and butterflies and just fucking hug. They're so nice. Most of them are just always smiling. They don't have any, like, anything inside them that's like remotely evil or, like, you know, or bad or cannot. They don't have that fucking thing in them. Whatever it is that the rest of us have to, you know. That's just, you know. So are we gonna lose that? What do we want to lose that? Will they become niche? Will there only be a few? Will it become like a collectible item where you're like, oh man, you gotta, you know, and like 2100 when there's like no retard baby, like you got one, or maybe there's like 10 in the world. That'd be like a niche. Find your niche, and if you have one, if you own one, if you're a parent to one, then maybe you could make it into a show or whatever. Have like a, you know, have a festival, you know, celebrating, remembering the tarts. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm glad that this kid's obviously, you know, getting the help, because it's nice, because, you know, they gain their independence rather. They become, you know, functioning, whatever that means. But it's nice. In a sense, it's nice. In a sense, it does make me a little bit like, oh man, no more retards. But also, like, I'm happy for them. So it's a bittersweet moment. Find your niche. Hong Kong, just if you ladies saw out there what's happening in Hong Kong right now, or happened in the past couple of days, it's terrible. There's a bunch of high-rise buildings that caught fire, and unfortunately some people died. Close to 100 people died. Hundreds are missing. The cause of the fire, of course, this is tragic, by the way. I do want to underline that fact. It's extremely tragic. Sucks. That part of it sucks. The cause of the fire, speculation is being speculated out there. That some people say it's Godzilla has made its way all the way from Japan to Hong Kong. And this might just be the beginning. Some people are afraid. They're saying the giant lizard will crush everything moving forward, starting from Hong Kong, and to take over all of China, and, you know, just circle around. And that's scary. That's scary. But I believe we can stop them. I believe we can stop. Well, obviously the Chinese government couldn't stop Godzilla, but we can. We can. If you need help, let us know. Our boys and girls and our resources and our technology will be there to assist you fight this giant lizard monster, this beautiful Japanese lizard that, you know, just destroys. Yeah, nobody knows what the cause of the fire is yet. I don't know, at least. Maybe some people know. That people are speculating. They say that the Orient has always been fascinated with fire, and they're right about that. Orientals have always been fascinated with fire, fireworks, gunpowder. That's, you know, so they're always just fucking playing with matches, lighter fluid, ample amounts of wood. You know, so this is, in a sense, maybe, you know, they love fireworks. That's the Orient. If one thing that they're known for is their love of the fire and fireworks, and deep down inside, that's something that unites us. We love fireworks. No matter where you are in the world, you love fireworks. Maybe the Orient have found out that everybody loves fireworks and have figured out a way to get our attention by creating a lot of fireworks. Low-key, they might know what we like. There are other methods, of course. To the people of the Orient, our hearts go out to you. may Godzilla be defeated, but I'm also not sure if Godzilla needs to be defeated. Low key, it's been a long time since I've seen any Godzilla movies. Was he a good guy or a bad guy at this point, to be honest with you? I can't remember. Because he had to fight other monsters, right, at one point? King Kong is one, of course, but like, you know, Mothra, Batra. If he was fighting those guys, he, in a sense, he's a good one, because those guys were good, right? You don't hear their names as the main, you know, protagonist, at least. So Godzilla's good. Don't kill the lizard. Find how many people we need to sacrifice on a yearly basis so that Godzilla doesn't need to attack. Find that out. And then we're going to have people who volunteer to be sacrificed. We'll find a solution together is all I'm saying. But again, this goes back to the deep, deep fascination of the Oriental with the fires. So there's that. There's that, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of finding your niche, there's been a couple of tests that are being tested, that are being run, that are being conducted in New York. Happy Cashier is a company that creates virtual cashiers, apparently. Yeah, there's the self-checkout that we've already had for a few years. Now there's the virtual cashier. There's a camera via Zoom. There's a cashier not in person, but you see a person's face, and they'll assist you if you need anything. And this is being tested in New York. They're hiring these virtual cashiers in places like the Philippines for $3 an hour. And fucking virtual cashiers versus trad cashiers. I like trad cashiers because there's like a person there. I like physical people. I like my people in the physical. I like my people in the flesh. Because you can go up to the cashier, and if it's like a hot chick, you can make conversation. Look at her titties for a second, not too long, of course, you don't want to make her uncomfortable, but you know what I'm talking about, just a quick glimpse, as you're quick glimpsing through everything, Mars bar here, a little bit of milk there, titty there, rotisserie chicken here, bananas, tits, pack of gum, tits, quick glances, of course. So there's that, and then you're like, well, you can see the tits through the virtual reality. Through the virtual cashier, you can still see the tits. Hell, it might be that it's cold in the grocery store, so she has to wear a sweater and you can't see the tits. Whereas if she's, virtually helping you from her apartment, she can fucking virtually assist you in a bra, maybe even a topless. She's indoor now. They say you can't be topless. Some places they say that in outdoor areas you can't be topless, but I guess if you're virtually assisting, then you might have to fight for that, because that's technically inside. Technically you're inside. So there's a pro for virtual cashiers, topless cashiers. That's potentially one way of getting me to change my mind on how I feel about virtual cashiers. If we get free tits, virtual nonetheless, there's nothing you can do. You can lick the screen, but it's not the same. You can lick the screen, you can probably look at it a little bit longer, and just, if she asks, were you staring at my tits? And be like, no, there's probably a glitch in the Wi-Fi. I'm just glancing through everything. I'm Mr. Glancer. You can say that. I would never stare at your tits. Blame it on the glitch. Say it's your crappy Wi-Fi. Okay? $3 an hour is a little bit, it's about outsourcing. This is about outsourcing. And again, it goes back to the niche, finding your niche. But also you got to fight outsourcing as well. So there's that. We got to fight outsourcing with outsourcing. I say if they put a virtual cashier in your neighborhood, you put a virtual cashier in their neighborhood. Cash them out in the Philippines. That's what you got to fight virtual cashiers with virtual cashiers. Get a person in New York, or people in New York, or in North America in general. We got to start doing that, because a lot of jobs you'll call, any place you call for assistant, it's like some other person all around, all across the globe, over there in India and Pakistan and China and wherever. We flip the table, put our guys and gals up on their shit. Or just hire locally. There's that option as well. Hire locally as well, but also the more you save, the more money the company makes. I see that aspect of it as well. It's a deep, fascinating topic. At the core of it lies an intermingled topic. Niche. Niche ass. Niche. What'd you call me? Bitch. Say it again. I said niche. Focus on your niche, man. Niche. You got to find your niche, man. Get a good look at yourself in the mirror. Find your niche. What motivates you? What gets you out of the bed in the morning? Find your niche. It's a little bit of the happy cashier. Apparently it's gonna be more of it. It's gonna be more of that shit. What else is going on? Afghan national Ramadingdong Bangbang, I believe that's his name. Ramadingdong Bangbang, Afghan national that just shot two National Guards soldiers in Washington near the White House. He was allegedly working with the CIA under the Biden administration. And so I don't know what that means. Working with the CIA, working for the CIA, working with this. I like the CIA. First and foremost, I just want to say this. I love the CIA. I love intelligence work. I'm a fan. Sometimes there's funny things happen in every company, and it's worth noting. So just letting you know how I feel about you. Love you. You're a necessity. I get it. But in this particular case, how did this unravel? Well, it's clear as day. Joe Biden and the Democrats went and gathered people who don't like us, and they made out with them, and they engaged in sexual activities and made relationships with them. They got back to the US, of course, and then they felt like, oh, we should bring back some of the people who we fucked, who we had gay sex with. So to open up the borders, bring in these guys from Afghanistan who we fucked, allegedly. And some of them worked with the CIA and came over and got asylum, and then some of them went fucking bad. And some of them went fucking shooting towards our National Guard's troops. And unfortunately, that one sucks too, in terms of, I believe one person died. And there's, the finger should be pointed to the poorly vetted individual. Lessons to be learned, better vetting systems. Also, there's like 19 countries of concern, 19 countries that makes us come. We'll come for you. We'll come for you. The 19 countries that are on the list. You make us come. 19 countries that are on a list of concern, and we're coming for you. You are causing arousal in our nether regions, so we're coming for you. The 19 countries. You're disgusting. You're a third world, and that's why you're disgusting. You're dirty. You don't like our values. Even they're great values. Fucking great values. For your buck. You get a lot of values for your buck, and you don't like it. And we're basically looking for a reason at this point. We're basically give us a good reason and we will be there. We pulled that, and that's one of the problems too. We pulled out of Afghanistan, and this is the type of shit that makes us want to put it back in. This is the type of shit, because we slid it out. We took it all out. You saw it. We took it out and it splattered. It splattered all over. But sometimes you pull out, and then sometimes you spend some time by yourself, and there's only so much loving that a person can give to themselves, and then you're like, maybe it's time to make a few phone calls and put it back in. Maybe that person could, engage. Maybe we could put it back in. Why not put it back? Because a hand is only as it's not as good. A hand is not a good replacement for the puss. So sometimes you pull out, and you're like, yeah, I got my independence, but like it's also nice to put my cock in the puss. All this to say that we pulled out. Yeah, we pulled out Afghanistan. But if time goes by, we might feel like we'd like to put it back in. And you give us a reason. This was not a good enough reason to, but like you're on the right track. If you want to have it put back in you, we will put it back in. This time, no protection. This time, raw dog. We might go in this time, no rubber, no glove, just fucking, and it's gonna be wet. Do you want wet? And you're like, oh, it's really dry in this region. Well, then I guess in the beginning there's gonna be some friction. So you just give us a reason, dude. You don't think we like poppy fields? We are looking for just anything, really, at this point. Give us, and there's again 19 of these countries that are on the, so watch yourselves, each and every one of you, give us a reason. Our boys and our gals and our tech will be so far up your rectum, it'll just feel like it'll just feel like a part of you at that point. It'll be really like, you'll be like, is it a part of me? Is it up my rectum? It's all one and the same. We'll be there. So this was a dirty act of terrorism, a dirty, heinous act of terrorism. And yeah, sure, might have been a little bit of, no one's perfect, all right? So, okay, yeah, they were working great. When we were back in the Afghanistan region, they were working great under the CIA's supervision, working side by, but sometimes people fucking, they turn and fucking, they do crazy shit. So that's it's nothing to do with the CIA. This one's just a pure act of terrorism, and it's dirty, rotten act of terrorism. And again, give us a reason, because we know our niche. We know where the money, our niche is the monies, and we'll get it. Want us to get it? Just give us an excuse. We'll be there. You think just because we pulled out, we're not going to put it back in? You got another thing or two coming your way. If you think just because we pulled it back out, we're not going to put it back in. This is a long game of pulling out and putting it back in. Thrusting ourselves back out, back in, pull, push, pull, push, thrusting, pulling out, put it in, out, in, out, in, out, in. And we don't need no Bluetooth. This isn't the type of pull it out, put it in that records the Bluetooth. This is natty, old natural. Pulling it out, putting it in. Thrusting it. Oh, now we're all pulsating together now, aren't we? A UK woman called her attacker a faggot, and she got charged with doing she got charged. I don't know what she's charged with, but she has to do like community service hours or something for like a year or so. I don't know exactly what they charge her with, but they fucking charge her, all right. She got attacked. I don't know how she got attacked, but she got attacked. physically, mentally, spiritually, she got attacked, ladies and gentlemen. She got attacked. And she called the attacker a faggot, and then they charged her. And that's the thing. You gotta, the takeaway from that is that, yeah, man, just because someone fucking attacks you doesn't mean you need to resort to like name calling, because that's hurtful. All right? They might have physically, mentally, spiritually attacked you, but for you to go out there and fucking call them a faggot, get your facts straight, first of all, you know? Get your facts straight, lady, before going and calling this fella a faggot. What if he's not a faggot? And now you're just speculating whether or not he's a faggot or not. You know, you don't want to be, and that could be like, oh, and he has to live with that. He has to go and, oh, I attacked this, you know, he's having a rendezvous with the rest of the attacking gang that he's a part of. And he's like, oh, you won't believe what this bitch did after I attacked her. Turn around and call me a faggot. And that, he has to live with that, man. Don't you have a conscience of sorts? Or you don't fucking feel anything, do you? There's nothing in there. It's just fucking dead behind the eyes, isn't it? Calling your attacker a faggot. Where's the world going? Where we can't get attacked and not resort to just vile language. You have to get that low. Are we animals? Is this what civilized means to you? Calling your attacker a faggot, man, that's not the way we roll. Give her more time. 1 year is not enough. Charge her. Death penalty. Death penalty for this bitch that called her attacker a faggot. And you're like, what about the Afghan national? What about his death penalty? Should he get a death penalty? No. He should be, I don't know if he's dead or he got shot too, I think. I don't know if he's dead or alive by now. If he's alive, keep him alive. Keep him well fed. Get him fucking in a really good condition, and then we'll torture him together. And then have him really get into poor health, and then revive him. You know, and then prolong this for like 10 years of having him get really healthy, torture, unhealthy, get him back healthy again, torture, rinse, repeat, until we're pulling it back out and we're putting it back in. Pull it out and putting it back in there, right there. Let him recover from getting shot, and then let him get healthy, and then shoot him again. And then let him get healthy, and then shoot him again. We'll get in there, baby. We'll get in there. We'll get all the opium. If you think we're not going to get all the opium, if you think we're not going to just fucking, we will get all the opium. There's a thing that's happening that's called quiet divorcing. Quiet divorcing is what before reading into it, I thought it was just like, I'm like, what is this? Quiet divorcing? Is this, you know, I felt like, man, this is about people like in relationships walking around like whispering to each other, just like, bitch, I'm getting a divorce from you. What'd you say? Getting a divorce. Why are you so quiet then? This is a quiet divorce. I'm a quiet divorcer. We're getting a divorce. Does a walk by divorce? What? Say it out loud, a little bit louder. Divorce. I'm a quiet divorcer. I thought it was like whisper rap, but like for divorce, but it's not. Apparently, it's been a thing, and I think it's just a sign of the times in terms of. And it's been around. I read a little bit into it. It's not what you think it is. It's not divorcing actually. It's not divorce. It's actually staying in a relationship, but like kind of zoning out of a or going zombie mode in a relationship. It's called quiet divorcing, where people are figuring out if you're gonna, because again, the stats have remained the same, more or less the same. Divorce is still a thing, you know, roughly 50% of marriages, you know, fall apart, all that jazz. But apparently for those who are sticking them out, they have learned, and just like older generations too, yeah, at some point or another, and it's all about, I think it's about, this is nice, but it's for the new generation, so you got to give it a new name, just because, you know, people, every generation likes new terms for the shit that's already been there, you know. Quiet quitting was another one. This is similar to that kind of, like, not quitting, but like zoning out. And that was a case for previous generations where people just showed up to work and just fucking zoned out. They didn't have a name for it. It's just called showing up to work. There was, people called it the new generations, you know, millennials, Gen Z, and I guess the ones that are coming up, they're gonna have terms for their way of interacting and making sense of life. So quiet work, quiet quitting was a thing, you know, people just linger in a job until they find another job and then quietly just kind of zone out and then like slip into another job and then have a few years where their soul is being dragged out of their body and then start quiet quitting, which means again zoning out or going into zombie mode. And that's the same thing with marriages. Younger people are now getting into marriages, those that are attempting, and realizing, yeah, maybe it's been a little bit of a wake-up call that we don't, you know, relationships are tough. Relationships are not easy. It's work. It's beautiful. It's lovely. It's great. Loving relationships are fantastic, but it's work as well. And sometimes we've had for so many years these images of, like, you know, movie versions or like Hollywood versions of what romance and relationships are. And then especially nowadays with the age of social media and everybody getting a glimpse of other people's lives and at least what they're portraying, and sometimes, a lot of times, you get unrealistic images of people's lives and people's way of living, and a lot of it is just displayed as, you know, luxury and rolling around in a lavish yacht somewhere and just like always eating fancy food and fancy clothes. And that, for a lot of people, for the general public, mass majority of people, it builds a false narrative of what relationships are supposed to be like. And the reality of it is, once you sink into it, you know, I've been in a few relationships, but at one point or another, you do gotta, again, I'm learning. It's been a few years that I've not been in a relationship, but again, as I'm learning and growing for myself, I guess I'm saying a lot of this for myself as well. Most of it is for myself anyway. Find your niche. Have realistic expectations. You know, those images of your girl that you see on your phone before you start dating, she's not gonna always be that glammed up. That's for the fellas. You know, she's not gonna look like a supermodel all the time. You know, so people get into it and all of a sudden they saw those images of, like, you know, a perky tit 24/7, done up, you know, hair done, nails done, everything did. But then you get into it and you're like, man, she's a human, you know. One tit leans to the left a little bit or whatever, you know. Or your guy, you might see images of your guy first in a profile or even outside, first getting into that relationship. He might be this like image of a, you know, Prince Charming, so-called, or whatever, and then you get into it and you realize people are people. People come with flaws, people come with a needing of their space, this, that, and the other, and it's just like, have realistic expectations. So this quiet divorce thing, I like it because it's not actually divorce. It's just kind of like, yo, Loki, let's just be a little bit realistic. Let's just, you know, hang out, do our thing, be there for one another, and then give each other a little bit of space. Back up. That was my takeaway from it, actually. I don't even know what it's about, to be honest. It's just one of those terms. I heard it on, like, quiet divorcing. Again, I thought initially it's going to be about people who do drive-by divorces. Quietly, just getting a divorce. Initially, I thought I'm going to read about a bunch of people who are, again, whispering divorce to each other. Then I'm like, why wouldn't they highlight the loud divorce? What about the people who really claim it by a megaphone? We're getting a divorce in front of everybody on a mic. Loud divorces. We're getting a divorce. No one's ever gotten a divorce like us, everybody. We're getting a divorce. Loud divorce. What have we been talking about, ladies and gentlemen? Butt breathing. Breathing with your butt, ladies and gentlemen. I recall at one point or another making a joke or a remark about people using their butts to breathe. been a few years, I can't remember when I made that remark, but I do remember something along the lines of people should be able to breathe with their butt. And especially the females too, with the queefing, you should be able to queef, and you technically, it makes sense. There's a hole, air coming in and out, you should be able to breathe. Scientists have now picked this up, and they've done their research, and apparently you can. They're testing it. They tested it on pigs and rodents. They took a fluid and stuck it up the rodent's ass, and then the pig's ass too, and then the fluid carried oxygen. They infused it with oxygen. They inserted it in the pig's ass, and apparently, if there's a situation where your lungs fail, you have lung failure and you can't breathe, you can be saved, because they could put oxygen up your ass now. And they're testing it on people too. They tested on like 27 people. They put the fluid up their ass without any oxygen, just to see if the men and I think it was all men. I don't believe there were any women. I think it was just a study on men. 27 men, they put a fluid up their ass just to see if they can hold the fluid up their ass. And some of them did, it still needs to be worked on, but it's showing potential that you can take oxygen via rectum. And once this is perfected, once this gets going, I wonder how it'll impact like athletes. You know what I'm talking about? What if there's like a super athlete who's like, what if he got, because they say you get gassed out. Can you go 5 rounds in the UFC without getting gassed out? Imagine now there's a new technique of breathing with your ass. Put a bunch of liquids up your ass and just have it like, time sensitive, time triggered. You breathe with your lungs, but like you get to the 5th round, all of a sudden it's like pressing nitrous, but for your body. It's like nitrous up your ass, basically, is what that is. It's oxygen, but not, it's up your ass though, which is nice. What about underwater? Could we technically last longer underwater if we learn to breathe with our ass? Could that be a thing? I bet it could. I need the scientists to work a little bit harder. We can figure this out together. Glad to see it happening. I believe women would probably have a bigger advantage given to the anatomy, of course. The vagina is capable of many things, lifting heavy objects, being used as a means of creating an echo. If you've ever yelled anything into a vagina, you've noticed that it echoes, so it's capable of creating acoustics and great sound. The vagina is capable of being extremely elastic. It's the most elastic substance on earth. It can assist you in, hoarding. If you're into hoarding, you can do it on your person via vagina. It's good for that. Vaginas are basically multi-purpose things that, they can do a lot. I've seen a vagina build a house in one afternoon by itself. And I don't know if it saw, like, you heard of that, you've seen, you're like, oh, mothers, when they feel like their children are in danger, and then next thing you know, vagina's just like full-blown doing construction, one house up in an afternoon. Why? Because that puss felt threatened. Did we just hack the way to get, how do we get puss to be more productive? Make it a little bit threatened, not too much, but like to get it motivated to do really amazing things. If you like, because that's the thing, you've heard of this. Low-key just like threaten a bitch just a little bit, and then have her, if you need, like, if there's like a giant tree in your backyard that needs to be removed, make that tree seem a little bit threatening to the puss. Next thing you know, the puss is ripping up the tree with the roots out of the ground by itself, and it's incredible. It is incredible. Find your niche. Oh. This one's a great example of finding your niche. Guinea-Bissau. I just heard about this. I love this because it's interesting to be a part of. I've never been a part of it, but I'd like to one day somehow be of use and be a part of it. There was a coup in Guinea-Bissau. It's a country in Northwest Africa, one of the poorest countries in the world. Population of roughly 2 million people. It's a narco state. It gained its independence from Portugal in 1974, and there's been many a coups since. They have like a coup like every year or so. Like not as frequent, but you know, you get the idea. A lot of coups. And then the coup went down. The sitting president and the opposition leader both claimed victory in an election, and then the military general came in and kicked him out and said, I'm Prezi. I'm a transitional president. He said that, or they said that. I don't know who said it, but somebody said it, that he's a transitional president, which this is the first. This is the first I've heard of. They said transitional president. He's in the middle of transing. That we've never had that before, globally speaking. This is the first time. It's a transitional. I don't know if he's going from male to female or female to male, but nonetheless, I guess we're doing it. Is he going to be able to, you know? I don't want him competing in women's sports. I'll say that. I don't care what he lands on, whether he's a he and transitions into a she, or if it's a she and gets, you know. Although the she transferring into he, that and then competing, that would be kind of low-key impressive, but the other one is just oppressive, so I don't want to see that. But my point is that he's transitioning and he took over, and it's a narco state. Roughly 2 million people. My whole point of today's, I guess, again, touching topics. Interconnected topics. Interconnected topics. You watched and you enjoyed the show because you're into interconnected topics. That's right. It's a narco state. Has 2 million people. This is, again, a niche opportunity. If you like bringing in cocaine and like taking cocaine out, this is a great opportunity. Again, one of the poorest countries in the world. Population is not that big. There's plenty of coups happening all the time. If you're like, how do I deal cocaine? Guinea-Bissau is the place to go right now. Again, Guinea-Bissau, find your niche. I want you to get in there. It is predominantly, from what I see, it's an African nation, so a lot of beautiful black folk. So if you're black, fucking get in there. You can get in there and, like, you know, it's fun. Get in there. Get a little bit of coup under your belt. It's so fun to do a coup. Never done one, but it looks really cool. I would love to do a coup somewhere if we can make that happen. If this podcast could be sponsored by like a coup production company, I'd love that. You know, it's a small, just a little tiny, not anything major or like, you know, crazy, just like, you know. So get in there, do the coup. You're like, I'm not black. How am I gonna do blackface? All right, do full-blown blackface. Get in there, sell coke. It's messy. You're gonna have a higher chance of getting away with it. It's just nice. So find your niche. That's the whole, I guess, underlying theme of this podcast. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, pulling it out, putting it back in. Out, in. Get out of here. Peace out.